Hello. Good morning, love wrestling. It is Thursday. It is 10 a.m. And you all know what that means by now. You see myself. You see this man right here, Drew. And you know it's another edition of Firmly Love Wrestling here on Love Wrestling. But today is AEW Day. But before we dive into all the happenings, all the good things that happened last night and really this week in AEW programming, because we had Continental Classic matches on every show since the last time we talked, Drew. There were Continental Classic matches on Rampage, on Collision, and as you would expect on Dynamite as well. So we'll dive into that. Had a giant return last night at the end of the show. As you've seen the thumbnail, the big news of the day, Toni Storm made her triumphant return to AEW last night. So we'll dive into that. But first and foremost, Drew, Tuesday was kind of like,
oh my God.
It was a technology nightmare to start this show on Tuesday.
It really was.
But today we're looking all right. Things are looking better.
It's better. I don't know how it looks. It looks awful, but it's better.
Does it though?
Okay, so as we figured out on Tuesday, just to reiterate for those who don't watch Firmly WWE, which you should if you're not.
I don't know why you're not at this point, but
even if you don't watch WWE, you should still come and watch with us because we're entertaining and we're fun and we make it fun. My cat chewed through my internet wire.
A tale as old as time.
Waiting for and boy, that cat's it's been on one this week. Really? Do you want another cat? Because I might be in the market.
I mean, I think Lou could use a friend. I mean, he's pretty good on his own. He likes being spoiled. But I think Lou could use a friend. I'm not gonna lie to you.
My microphone is for people that don't know this, because usually you see me on a regular camera where you don't see anything else but me and the curtain behind me. I have a microphone stand now, so you get to see that today. And so I'm waiting currently on a 100-foot internet wire to show up.
Because it has to go. Yeah.
To show up at some point today, because my computer, while this work laptop, is totally fine on Wi-Fi, my computer is not, which is what the problem was on Tuesday. So it needs to be hooked up, wired to the router, and it needs a special wire because I am at the almost furthest point away from the home router in my living room. Yeah. So the Wi-Fi sucks. And I need a very long wire that usually isn't sold in stores. So
fair enough.
So that's my life. How's yours going?
Oh, I'm chilling, dude. I'm chilling. Red Sox actually made a move yesterday and so that's good to see that my baseball team has a pulse. That's good.
You can play that Yankees lose.
Oh, I can, because I was actually going to do that because, how's Juan Soto going? How's that? You traded your whole farm system for a guy that was only there.
It was a good day for the Dodgers.
Good day. What's a good day?
It was. Ice Cube leading it off.
Because the Yankees lose.
You love saying it. It's unbelievable. How you getting to New York, man?
Hey, man.
Who's not getting? Well, he is getting to New York, but who's not getting to New York via the Bronx? That's Juan Soto.
Yeah, the 7 train.
Hilarious. Hilarious. This is not a baseball show, so we're not going to talk about hilarious. And then my favorite thing was the following day on Twitter, all the Yankee fans saying that Juan Soto wasn't that good. Okay.
Well, that's a par for the course with any sport, it seems, these days.
Okay. I saw one guy that I follow. Yeah, I saw one guy that I follow who's this obnoxious Yankee fan that I follow because we just go at each other like in a friendly, like we're not like
not me. Wow.
No. But
mean,
he's
obnoxious.
like he's one of those things. He's one of those people. Like his tag is something like obnoxious Yankee. Like it's like one of those things.
Oh.
So I always follow him because he's outrageous, and I'm just like, you're a clown. Like, and we go back and forth with each other. And the day before, I got in like a fake Twitter argument with him because he was just like, all these other teams that think that they have a chance at Juan Soto is like blah 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 blah. And I was just like, okay. I was like, what are you gonna do when you wake up in the next 2 days and he's a Met? Like, I wasn't even coming in from the Red Sox angle. I know we were involved, but I knew we weren't getting him. But like, I was like, what are you gonna do when he's a Met? And he's like, he's not going to. Why would he go to the Mets? The little brother? Why would he go to the Mets? And I'm like, I don't know, because he was on your team for a year and you guys choked and lost. And he looked at his Batman and Robin partner who hit 100 in the playoffs. And maybe he's like, yeah, maybe I don't want to be here. Maybe. But
good for Juan Soto.
Oh,
I have no ill will at all.
$765 million.
Listen,
outrageous.
It's ridiculous.
Outrageous.
But he is a very, very good player.
Oh, he's a Hall of Fame player already, and he's 26. He's 26 years old, which is what nobody deserves that amount of money. Shohei didn't deserve that amount of money that he got last year either. But nobody deserves that amount of money. But if that is the level of money in that league, it is what it is.
There's like doctors and teachers, and not that I'm going to say teachers deserve $700 million, but it's there's people that are not CEOs, if you know what I mean, who deserve better pay. I'm not getting into that discussion, by the way. I'm just referencing.
And when it comes to money in sports, I understand the argument of why sports fans are always like, well, nobody deserves that amount of money. Yeah, you're right. But you also have to look at it in a vacuum and you have to say, okay, but this is the type of money that is in. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, when the Juan Soto stuff was happening and the Red Sox were still involved, right? You had people like locally calling the radio station, be like, they shouldn't be spending that much money on this type of guy, blah, blah. And my response was, it's not your money. What do you care? Mm-hmm. Why do you care at all? Are you signing the check? Do you have to write the check? No? Shut up. Like, what does it matter to you?
Right.
I just like sports is just a different world. Like, same with wrestlers. Like Roman Reigns gets paid $4 or $5 million a year, reportedly. Does he deserve $4 or $5 million a year to show up, 30 dates, 40 dates a year and do what he like? Probably not. You know what I mean? But he's at the top. That's what the value is in this world. And he's at the top. He deserves the top. You know what I mean? I don't know. I never understand the money argument when it comes to like fans being angry about the amount of money. Because I just always look at it and I'm like, that's not my money. It's John Henry's money that he has to pay Juan Soto if we would have got him. I don't give a shit that John Henry would have had to pay $700. I don't care. Anyway, I digress. So
people care too much about things that aren't their business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I care way too much about sports in general, so I'm not going to judge sports fans because I am one of those people that like, I didn't go to school the next day after Aaron Boone hit the home run in 2003. Like, I didn't go to school. I woke up and I looked at my mom and I said, I don't want to go to school today. I'm depressed. And she was like, that's fine. And I said, you're the MVP, Mom.
I remember seeing that moment live.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah. Bonkers, I vehemently disagree. I thought that was one of the better episodes of Dynamite we've gotten in a while.
Yes. I before we went live, I was telling JPJ that yes, usually it's been my thing to shit on AEW. However,
yeah, lately you've been off the product.
This week I thought was a very, very good week for well, aside from other things that are going on, business wise, or not.
Do we want to talk about that? Do we want to talk about that?
I don't know. Should we get that out of the way now, or should we wait?
I mean, I haven't I've seen some of the tweets and stuff, and I know he's like deleted them and stuff. If that's what you're talking about, that right?
Yeah,
the Ray Phoenix stuff. Obviously, Ray Phoenix. This is not anything new, but Ray Phoenix wants out of his contract. The report came a long time ago that him and Penta were heading to WWE once their contracts were up. Penta's contract is already up, but Tony has added injury time to Ray Phoenix's. This is all news that we already knew. But the other day, I want to say, was it over the weekend or earlier this week? Monday, maybe?
I think it was either Sunday or Monday.
Yeah. A few days ago, Ray Phoenix kind of went on a Twitter tirade a little bit. He released, some tweets saying certain things. I think, one of them included that he was injured and they didn't give him a doctor or something along those lines as well. Those tweets were then deleted. And, there was a report that said that people in WWE were kind of shocked a little bit. I can hear myself.
Sorry. I wanted to pull up the chat, so I went to YouTube.
Yeah. Are you talking Danielson and Ospreay, Tom? The one that they had in AEW? Yeah. That was a great match. That's what you're talking about? You can't go wrong with those two guys. Let me try to pull up the Ray Phoenix tweets. There were only like a few of them.
No, they're gone. He deleted them.
Yeah, I know, but you should be able to find them on line, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure somebody has
screenshotted.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, and Dynasty. Yeah, Tom, that match was great. All right, so let's see. I just want to see if I can find the tweets. For the love of God, because he did delete them. Yeah, he's deleted the posts.
Yeah, I remember he was responding at one of the first tweets was he was responding to somebody reporting that there were issues, saying that it was the most accurate story that had come out. And then he said that he would not be saying anything yet. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
He then said that he would not be saying anything yet. And then the next day, so I think that was Sunday that happened. And then I think on Monday, then he tweeted, I needed a doctor and you...
Yeah.
Something. Yeah, go ahead, read it.
Yeah. So the first tweet, first of all, we got Spencer and Zach in the chat saying morning. Good morning, fellas. So the first one, it says, no one it's just a random tweet. No one stays in a place where they received inhumane treatment.
Oh, yes.
That's the first one. And then a couple days late. So that was on the 7th, December 7th. So I think that was last Saturday. And then on the 9th, which was Monday, he tweeted again. He said, I needed a doctor and you ignored me for months. So those were the two tweets that he has since deleted. Look it. To me, this is a pretty simple case of wrestler wants to leave. Company's not letting him leave. He's pissed. So he's saying shit that might be true, might not be true, but he's saying shit that he probably shouldn't say publicly because he's probably frustrated because he wants to go. Him and Penta, I believe, were probably told by WWE, we're going to bring you in immediately once you guys are free.
Right. Yeah.
Penta's now free and ready to go. And Ray Phoenix is like, what the hell? I want to go. And Tony, and it's with look at, you can feel a certain way about it, but it is within Tony Khan's right to add the injury time if that's part of the contract stipulations. Like, he is more than within his right to do that. Whether you think that's right or wrong, or whether you think he should do it or not, that's up for debate. That's everybody's individual opinion. But we've seen, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and say somebody's wrong or somebody who's right, who's wrong. It is what it is. But this, to me, that's what this is. Ray Phoenix wants to leave. Everybody knows he's leaving. And Tony's like, well, you were injured for this amount of time, so guess what? You're not leaving yet because I know where you're going. You're going to my competition. So I'm going to keep you longer because why wouldn't I? And obviously that's going to rub some people the wrong way. It's going to piss off Ray Phoenix. And I think Ray Phoenix, I wouldn't have been shocked if, maybe Ray Phoenix and Penta were told like, hey, we're going to bring you in at the whatever. And you're going to have a lead up to Mania. I don't know. They might have been told a certain thing, a program, the idea of a debut or something. And then all of a sudden he sees his brother who can go and's free to go, and he's not, and he's upset. He's upset. And it doesn't make it right that he shared those tweets. Again, it's well within his right to share those tweets too. But it doesn't make it right or wrong.
Well,
it's just one of those things.
Okay, so, I'm not like a defender of... I don't paint myself, at least, as a defender of a wrestling company owner in any, either Triple H or Tony Khan. But I just look at the facts the way that we know them, and my personal opinion is, listen, he clearly... The thing is that they already did something wrong by allowing WWE essentially to, let's call it what it is, contract tamper. It was literally what they did.
And that's what Johnny said. He said TK is hypersensitive given the WWE contract tampering that happened with Swerve.
And that wasn't just Swerve.
No, it was multiple people.
Well, in specific to these two that we're talking about right now.
Yes.
The story literally came out over the summer. I think it was like maybe late July, mid-August, that Lucha Brothers were in talks with WWE. And this is why they were still under contract with AEW.
Yep.
And then Penta did this like smoke and mirrors type of a tweet of like, no, I love AEW and we're not doing it and blah, blah, blah. This happened, back then.
Yep.
And so Tony Khan was already aware that this was something that was happening. It's not like it was just like, oh, I'm just doing this very bad thing to Ray to punish Penta. He was already aware that this was a thing that was happening. So that's, in my mind, that's the Lucha Brothers starting this by essentially, so I'm not, and again, I'm not saying this in defense of what Tony did.
No. And look,
go ahead. I do also think that whether or not this medical doctor thing is true or not, and I don't know the logistics behind wrestling contracts to where I can go, oh, when a wrestler gets injured, it's the job of the company to find them a doctor and do all these, I don't know these things. So judging from just my assumption, since I do not know what it specifically says in an AEW contract, if Tony Khan was supposed to do a doctor, or the company at least, if AEW was supposed to like line up doctors and procedures and whatever it is for Ray, and then didn't, and then you say, oh, well, now I'm also extending your time due to injury, when I was also supposed to be finding you a doctor for months and didn't. That's really, well, okay, we're after 10 minutes. That's really fucked up. So I do not defend Tony Khan for extending the contract.
And like my thing is, right, it's, for me, this has been done in wrestling forever. You know what I mean? And like, again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but like the people that are coming out and saying like, oh, Tony, ragging on Tony Khan for this, or like getting on Tony Khan for doing this. Last time I checked, the WWE has been adding injury time on for contracts forever. Like, this seems to be a kind of normal type of situation in a contract for wrestlers.
It wasn't a normal thing with AEW because they were presenting themselves as the alternative to what WWE does.
And that's fine. But I don't like the people that are coming out of nowhere saying like, oh, again, in my personal opinion, I think Tony should just let him go. He doesn't want to be there. You're just creating more bullshit that you have to answer at press conferences or, on these things, because now there's just more crap. You're creating more problems than good with it. Just let him go. figure it out and let him go.
The thing though is that I don't really.
But I don't fault Tony for doing it.
I don't necessarily agree with that, only because now that sets a precedent that like you can just cause problems on social media and then you'll just get let go whenever you want to.
Yeah, but I mean, but he's never coming back. It's not like all of a sudden Tony's going to have a conversation with him and be like, "Hey, come on, we want to re-sign you. Come back." And he's coming. He's gone.
Oh no, but I'm not saying that because of Ray necessarily. I'm saying that for the future. For like,
I get it, but what kind of precedent are you setting now? Because if I'm an AEW superstar or I'm an AEW wrestler and I see how Ray Phoenix is getting treated right now, and I feel and I go, okay, so if I don't want to re-sign here in 2 years and I somehow get injured in those 2 years and I'm out here, so they're going to keep me. You know what I mean? Like, I think it goes both ways. Like,
I don't think, so my personal feeling on it is that when you sign the contract, you know what you're signing as an adult. Like, you read the contract.
Yeah.
It says, and there's there's the whole business of, yes, WWE does this too, but it's different in the sense that under WWE, while in both companies you're called an independent contractor, in one company you're actually an independent contractor, and that's AEW.
Yeah.
In WWE, you're an independent contractor, but God help you if you want to do something else.
Well, now it's a little more different now.
They've been more lenient with it now. But when Vince was doing it, you were, if you wanted to do something in Defy or GCW or Chaotic or any of these places around the country or around the world, if you wanted to go to AAA, if you wanted to go to Japan, if you wanted to do any of that stuff, Vince was not allowing that.
Oh,
you were just not being used anymore, or you were getting injury time added, and that was that.
Yeah.
But in AEW, you can do you could do GCW. You can do Defy, you can do Chaotic, you can go to AAA, you can go to New Japan. It's not you're called an independent contractor, but you're only allowed to do things in AEW.
Yeah.
So, but my point in all of this is that I feel like everyone has fault here in some way.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Ray, Penta, Ricky, literally everybody in AEW signed a contract that says, if you get injured, we can add injury time.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm in AEW, not as any of these people, if I'm just a Buddy Matthews or a Ricochet or Will Ospreay, outside of this whole thing, I'm going, well, they participated in contract tampering with the rival company, and as a result, Tony did what he has to do to protect AEW, and that's it's shitty. It's a business thing, and I'm not a business person, so I don't like shady business tactics. But you can't just. The reason why I disagreed with you on just letting him go is you can't just be like, in any business that requires you to be exclusive to one company and not be working with a rival company, you don't see people just shit talking the whole company, and then the owner of the company goes, "Oh, okay, you're disgruntled here, and I know that you contract tampered with the rival company. Okay, you're gone. Have a nice day." That's not the real world. You don't just, because then it's, like I said, that sets a precedent of like, oh, hey, I could just go shit talk Tony on Twitter and he'll just let me go. I could be like 7 months into a 3-year deal and And WWE has expressed interest in me, so I could just shit talk, and then he'll let me go, and I could just go work for WWE. It's just that's not how it works.
Yeah, 100%. Again, I think this does more bad than good for them. I think this makes AEW look worse. That's the only reason why I would let him go. So I understand protecting the investment, but you already know he's not coming back. There is no more investment with this guy. The investment has already happened on the television programs that we watched him fight for you for the last. He hasn't been on our screen in 8 months. Like, there has not been an investment anymore with this individual. And when stuff like this happens, whether no matter what side you're on, or if you're just kind of in the middle, it makes AEW look bad way more than it makes Rey Fenix look bad. And that's just how it is. And it's one of those things to me where Tony Khan now is at an all-in press conference in Texas where they're doing this big circumstance, and he gets asked the question now, oh, what about these Rey Fenix tweets? Well, you wouldn't have to answer that question or continue to talk about stuff like that.
Sean, I
was
watching the Fightful review of AEW last night, and Sean said specifically that they were not allowing questions about that.
Okay,
legal matters and whatever. So there's
that's
no question
fine. But the fact that you even have to say that is an indictment on your company. So that's just how I like. Everybody is looking at this, and I agree with Sinner. I agree with you and me that this is just part of the gig. This is nothing new. Johnny said it up here. Vince did it all the time. It's petty, but it's the wrestling business. This is nothing new. You know what I mean? So like, this has always happened. I just think in this, and I think Sandy nailed it. Like, everyone loses in this. It just looks bad for everybody. So at what point do you just go, okay, like, I don't know. At some point, to me,
probably what's going to end up happening is it's going to die down probably after the Rumble, maybe by like WrestleMania time, and then he'll just release them and just be like,
maybe.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
probably that's what's going to end up happening.
We'll see. All I know is that, the longer this goes, the more juice like this can happen. And like, again, I'm not saying that if I was in Tony Khan's shoes, I wouldn't do the same thing.
We see now Ricky Starks was frustrated. He didn't go jab the way that Rey Fenix did. No. But he would do like those subtle little types of tweets. But he has been now allowed to work in other companies, not WWE, but there was the GCW thing, but then that happened. But now he's already, I don't remember the other, I don't know if it's House of Glory or something, some other place he's contracted with to have matches with. So
I don't know.
So Tony is allowing him to do that. Now, was Tony not allowing Ray and Penta before this whole thing to do outside projects and other things? I don't know, because it's, from what it seems, is like...
And this isn't a Penta issue. Penta's fine. Penta's already released. Like, he's already free.
Penta's gone.
He could go sign with WWE tomorrow if he wanted to, but I think they're a package deal. So I think now, and I think that's part of it too for Ray, because I think Rey Fenix is looking and going, hey, I want to go over here. Like, this is already set in stone. And now he knows that because of his situation, his brother is also hamstrung. Because Penta can't, I don't think WWE is going to bring in Penta by himself. They want to bring them in as a tag team. So now, because of Rey Fenix's situation, Penta can't go to work. And so now Ray not only feels bad about his own situation, but he probably feels bad that his brother has to sit around on the sidelines waiting for this shit to happen too. So like, both of them are getting affected by this. And again, at the end of the day, whether it's right or wrong, petty, whatever, whether it was right or wrong or whatever, like, at the end of the day, it looks bad on AEW, in my opinion. It looks bad on AEW. And you get the comments that some people said, oh, Tony Petty Khan, Tony Khan. I don't necessarily agree with those comments. But however, that's the opinion you're getting because of situations like this. and Tony Khan and AEW run into situations like this, not this specific, but like where people question how they run things all the fucking time. So when things keep on happening like this, at some point, like, don't you want to shade yourself from the fucking bullshit?
My biggest issue, honestly, when it comes to all this, is Tony Khan, needs to kind of figure out a better way to, like what you're saying, like for there to be these types of talks, feels like monthly at this point. Like there's some situation coming up every month where we're having talks like this happen with a lot of people. We've got to have this, like, there's just a real bad lack of communication, and somebody has to be brought in to run like talent relations for Tony. I don't know who does it currently. I don't know if it's Tony that does it.
I don't know. I don't really know the upper brass of AEW, but they definitely need somebody back there to wrangle in some stuff, and we have Sandy saying can't wait for them to be in WWE.
I think they'll be great in WWE.
Oh, they're going to be incredible. Sunday Center saying all AEW wrestlers are allowed to take outside bookings. It's on them if they want to. That's my biggest issue with these guys complaining. If you want to go to work, go to work. And then Sunday Center is also saying that Shivani is the one that runs the talent relations. Johnny, we are going to be diving into we're going to be diving into the shows now. Scott, everybody has their opinion, but I think you would be doing a disservice to a wrestling industry if you didn't sign Rey Fenix. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, period, end of story. So I think if that is your opinion, I think there's a reason why you don't run a wrestling company, my man. I think there's a reason. So it's one of those things where if you can get the Lucha Brothers on your roster, you go get the Lucha Brothers. They're one of the best tag teams in the world, period, end of story. So I would disagree with you then. All right, let's dive in. Wait, what's Christopher Daniels? Oh, the talent relations. Mike, I disagree. I thought that was a huge pop. For Toni Storm when she came out last night.
There were points. I don't agree with the Toni Storm part of that, but there were some points again on the show where it's like, can we get some life out of you, please? Can you make some noise? That would be nice.
Yeah, I thought the Toni Storm pop was giant, and I thought she got a big ovation. But yeah, I don't know. Where were they last night? Somewhere random.
I don't remember.
Where was it? It doesn't say. Great. Anyway, I digress. All right, we did have some Continental Classic matches. As Johnny said, on a brighter note, loving the C2. They were in Kansas City. Thank you, Joe. Kansas City, that's a bigger city, but what can you do? All right, so we're just going to run through them. But the Continental Classic matches, because we did have, like we said at the top, we had Continental Classic matches on Rampage, and then as you would expect, obviously on Collision and Dynamite. But Rampage had 3 Continental Classic matches, which we'll just skim through. In the Blue League, we had Kazuchika Okada pick up a victory over Mark Briscoe. That led Okada up to 4 points as he had a draw with Daniel Garcia in his first matchup. And then right after that, we had Daniel Garcia pick up a victory over the Beast Mortos in the Blue League as well.
Very much enjoyed that match.
Very good match. Very, very good match. So Daniel Garcia is now up to 4 points in the Blue League as well. And then the main event of maybe not the main event, but in the Gold League match, Ricochet defeated Commander. This was a fun, high-flying match, as you would expect it to be. And Ricochet got the victory, so now he is up to 3 points in the Gold League. So that was the Continental Classic stuff on Rampage. Then we went over to Collision, and this computer is just a disaster. I will say, if there was one match on AEW television this week that you should go out of your way to see, It was Darby Allin and Commander from Collision. That match was spectacular. That was a spectacular match between these two guys in the Gold League on Collision. Darby Allin picked up the victory over Commander, so he is up to 3 points in the Gold League. And then another great match, which this guy is just running through this competition right now. In the Blue League, Kyle Fletcher defeated Kazuchika Okada.
That was an incredible performance by both men.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. Okada, he's a great wrestler, but he wasn't really showing that. He doesn't show that in every single match.
Yeah,
he's kind of like blah about some wrestling, but he gave it his all in this match. And Kyle Fletcher pinning the current Continental Champion was a major win for him.
Yep. And Kyle Fletcher has 9 points. He is currently undefeated, 3-0 in his first 3 matches. He has 9 points, and he is the clear front runner early on in the C2. And then there was one more match on Collision as far as the Continental Classic goes. And this one shocked me because Mark Briscoe got a pinfall victory over Daniel Garcia. In this Continental Classic. I mean, look at Mark Briscoe got 0 points last year, I believe. I think it would be really awful if he did 2 years in a row with getting 0 points.
I think because he got 0 points, he shouldn't have even been in this in the first place.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But it would be a bad look, I feel like, if this guy was in the CC 2 years in a row and got a goose egg in both. However, defeating Daniel Garcia, that was kind of a shock to me because going into this, I expected Garcia to have a deep, deep run in this, and it looks like we might not be. I know he's the TNT champion now, so he's got other things, but it looks like we might not be getting that deep Daniel Garcia run that I thought. I thought with last year's tournament coming into this year, it'd be a redemption. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Yeah.
But, there's still a ways to go. But that was kind of a shocker there that Briscoe got the victory over Daniel Garcia on Collision. And then we fast forward to last night's Dynamite, Kansas City, Missouri. No, wait, Kansas City, Kansas? Kansas City, Missouri? It's Missouri, right?
Missouri, yeah.
Yeah. Winter is coming.
Winter
you think so?
Here today.
You think so? A heel run. He was just a heel. I don't know. What do you mean?
He wasn't a heel.
I mean, he hasn't been like the super over babyface for he was basically not on the show for months. But before that, he was a good guy. He was a bad guy up until the Continental Classic. Like he literally hasn't been a babyface for that long.
Has he not?
No, he was a bad guy when they went into the Continental Classic last year, and then the fans he won over the fans because he was losing, and then they turned him into a babyface.
Oh, the dancing. That's
yes.
right.
So, he was a bad guy. He was a heel going into the CC last year. And then it kind of turned him, but then he was gone because of the contract stuff for most. I feel like this Daniel Garcia push as a champion, as the babyface, like I want to save AEW champion, that's brand new. Why are you going to turn him heel already? Well, that's like a newer thing, is it not?
When we get to a certain point in the show, I am going to have a little bit of a rant about that what you just said about him being on the Team AEW thing.
Yeah,
gonna have a little bit of a rant about that. So let's continue on.
Yeah. So we get to Dynamite last night. Winter is coming, a big show, a big show last night, and it was a good one. The show started off with a big-time tag match. It was the Death Riders, who were represented by Jon Moxley and Pac, going up against the unlikely team of Switchblade, Jay White, and Orange Cassidy. This match started with a brawl all around the floor and around ringside, and it was a few minutes before we got in the ring where the bell actually rang. But it started off hot. It was a good tag match. Pac is so damn good, man. Pac is just so damn good. Everybody in this match, these 4 guys are top of the top. But like Pac is just, but they go back and forth. And this match was coming to a crescendo. Orange Cassidy was hitting orange punches and, it was kind of breaking down a little bit. And it looked like Orange Cassidy was going to have his way kind of with Moxley. And then Wheeler Yuta showed up. The referee gets kind of distracted. Orange Cassidy regains himself. He starts to go at it. And then all of a sudden we have a run-in from Hangman Adam Page, and he attacks Jon Moxley, which causes a DQ. Orange Cassidy then goes over there and he lifts up Hangman to get off Moxley, and Hangman just kind of shoves him and he goes right back on top of Moxley, and he's pounding him. And then Jay White gets involved, and then it turns into the three of them fighting with each other, and Moxley and crew kind of leave. So you get an orange punch. Jay White hits a Blade Runner on Orange Cassidy. So it just turns into this whole thing, which I liked.
Yes.
And I agree with Johnny. I did love the DQ finish. I thought it fit here very, very well.
Yes. And then Moxley's promo after this, everything just fit perfectly into that.
Yeah. And then shortly after that, we have the Death Riders backstage with Moxley. And Moxley says he's a marked man and he wouldn't want it or have it any other way because it's the only way he feels alive. He kind of mocks and makes fun of everybody demanding title shots and says their egos are running their lives. And that's the problem with AEW. He says none of this is about him, but rather about my people. And he said at World's End, he goes, I'm going to give all three of these guys an early Christmas gift. He goes, I want a fatal four-way. And it was made.
Expect this.
Well, I tweet. So when that whole thing in the ring happened, I sent a thing out on social media, and it was like, oh, we're definitely heading towards a four-way at World's End. And then the very next segment was Moxley in this promo saying four-way at World's End. So it looks like we're getting Hangman versus Switchblade versus Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley. Multi-man fatal four-way match at World's End. That should be a doozy. And this whole time in the background, and it kind of goes into the next segment, which we'll talk about, but this whole time up in the box, we had Christian Cage just sitting there watching with his contract, because I think there's a good chance that Christian Cage maybe leaves World's End as the world champion, or he tries to, and maybe we see a triumphant return of somebody else who's been out for a while. But we'll get there when we get there.
I had been kind of sour on the Death Riders kind of thing, but I really enjoyed this promo from Moxley a lot.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of, it was kind of like a little bit of a meta type of a promo, because he was addressing things that it did feel like he was talking about more than just these three guys.
Yeah, 100%.
But the egos in AEW and you know,
I mean, it's in the greater story that he's been telling, is that AEW is a lot different now. Everybody, not everybody has the same attitude they did when they first started. So I do think there's this overlying factor of the elite, and where, especially the Bucks. So when he talks about these things and egos and things like that, yes, in this promo, he's referring to the three guys that are now in the four-way with him. But like you said, you can tell, or there is a vibe that he's speaking about the greater good when he's talking about these things. He's not just necessarily talking about these three dudes. He might be talking about the upper brass.
It made me think about what I had DM'd you earlier.
Yeah.
So I have this thought based off of something that you had said weeks ago about how you predicted, or fantasy booked, or whatever you want to call it, that Tony Khan was the guy who originally went to Moxley about the Young Bucks and the Elite.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, I'm giving you carte blanche. Do what you need to do to take this company back from the Elite. And then Moxley just went crazy with it and power hungry and taking the title and all that stuff. But when he was saying this promo about the egos and all this meta stuff, it made me think, oh, so before the Bucks left, they were shredding documents in the back. And we were both like, what was that about? Why would they be that? Because they didn't like the point of the segment was them rushing to get out before the Death Riders found them.
Yeah.
And what would be the significance of having to shred papers really fast before leaving if you were that afraid for your life? And I think now, judging from that promo last night, I don't think it was Tony Khan that went to Jon Moxley. I think it was the Young Bucks that went to Jon Moxley to be on the side of the Young Bucks. And then Jon Moxley went crazy with it. And it's going to be that they were the catalyst to him going, this is not your company anymore.
Yeah. It could work. I think Sunday Center said that was his beautiful booking, though. Did you get us confused?
No, you were the one that said that you.
I was along those lines. Yeah, I thought that Tony reached out to Mox to come save AEW, and then Moxley has gone crazy.
I remember talking about that on the show.
Yeah,
so I thought that was your.
No, I was along those lines, but Sunday Center's claiming it. Which, if he wants to, he can. I'm not going to.
Yeah, he claims.
I'm not going to fight him.
He claims. I'm not going to fight. Everything. Yeah. So that's what I think now. I think that the reason why they were shredding those documents is because those documents were the evidence that Jon Moxley would have had that it was him and the Bucks working together. And now Jack Perry and Okada weren't aware of this deal.
Maybe.
Which is why Jack was trying to pull them away. Be like, don't worry about these guys. Don't worry. But they were conflicted. They were conflicted because they knew that it was their fault that it was happening. Yeah, I agree. So that's what I think now. Yeah, we got Mike saying back then we just thought it was Shane McMahon is coming and blah blah. Well,
and that's what Mike says. He goes, I felt like the entire run up to the Death Riders was a build up to Shane O'Mac in an outsider style direction, and everything since has been trying to make it work without Shane. The only people that mentioned Shane O'Mac were the fans, dude. The fans worked themselves into a shoot. I never for once thought that Shane O'Mac was going to get involved. Again. I remember. I know the picture. I know the picture.
Yes, because I remember you saying this back then, and then I said, "But they did kind of allude to it without alluding to it."
Yeah, but I never for 1 second thought Shane McMahon would be involved in this. I never thought he should be involved in this. He should not be on TV.
Okay, you want to bring him in? He would make sense of the.
You want to bring him. You want to bring him in as a consultant to fix your backstage bullshit, which you clearly need someone in there to fix your backstage crap. You want to bring a businessman like Shane in to kind of clean that up and guide you along as a, whatever. I'm all for that. But Shane O'Mac being on television, that was a thing that was created simply 100% by the fans. Period. End of story. I know the Bucks leaked the picture, but they leaked the picture because they knew the fans were going to go fucking nuts. It was all done on purpose. Because they knew the fans are nutty, because we're wrestling fans. We are clearly not right in the head.
Oh,
because we like pro wrestling. So it's one of those things where they knew if we put this out here, all these fans are going to think that Shane O'Mac's going to be doing this or be doing that, when in reality, it was probably just a business consulting meeting. And he was probably just asking Shane for some advice on how to handle some shit. And I'm sure that they probably talked about maybe an arrangement at some point, but I don't think there was anything real serious about that meeting. And the Young Bucks trolled everybody, and the fans acted accordingly to how the Young Bucks probably thought they were going to react. So, it's just one of those things for me. But exactly, in today's world, who the hell knows, dude? Who the hell knows? But for me, that's what it was. So again, I like where we're going with the Death Riders a lot more these last 2 or 3 weeks than I liked the previous month before that or so. I felt like it was I felt like the last month or so, not including the last couple weeks.
Hopefully my power doesn't go out because it's very
Dude,
windy
yesterday, thank God it worked for like the NFL stuff we do in the day. Yesterday, between the morning when I woke up until about 3 in the afternoon, we lost power 4 or 5 different times because it was the torrential downpours and ridiculous winds all day here yesterday. It's brutal.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's your way. Usually it starts with you guys and it comes my way, but I don't know. But the weather here
the weather
was nutty.
yesterday was terrible too.
Yeah, the weather here was nutty yesterday. So I like what they're doing with the Death Riders the last couple weeks. I'm starting to dig it a little bit. I do like this 4-way stuff we're getting here. But
the interesting thing is too, that I wanted to mention is so rarely do we get more than 2 people going for the world championship.
Yeah, I feel like this
is the same time.
This is the first 4-way since the Pillars, right?
Yeah, for
the title. So it's usually, for the most part, it's a 1-on-1. You know, occasionally you'll throw a triple threat in there, or a 3-way. But I feel like, this is the first fatal 4-way for the title we've had since the Pillars. It should be good. And Mike, I can completely understand.
Oh yeah.
Why you feel that way? Because I don't think it's been the most solid. There's a lot of questions that still aren't answered. I will leave it at that. But I do like the direction they've been going in these last few weeks more than the previous.
I know this happened later on in the show, but can we address the Darby promo now?
That was great.
I don't have a problem with the promo, but I want to talk about it because it fits with what we're doing right now.
Yeah, let me scroll down and get my notes here. I got my notes. Hold on now. Oh, Darby. Where the hell is it? We got Ricochet.
I think it was like right after that or something.
We got Kyle O'Reilly. But if you have something while I find my notes, because I got to go out of order now. If you want to start talking about it,
I apologize.
I'll find my notes.
I apologize for doing that to you. So Darby, who is absolutely insane, punching himself while talking.
Oh, that was great.
And bleeding from it is just so funny. He rules. So I'm not my ire is not directed at Darby necessarily, but there was something that he said in that promo that made me go, wait a minute, that's not true. And I don't know now if it's him forgetting that happened, or if it's AEW based off of the booking lately trying to make us forget that it happened. So you didn't find it?
I don't have as many notes on it as I the only note that I have is he said Death Riders are chipping away at everything that makes AEW. And then he just basically says that he is representing AEW and blah, blah. So I didn't write a lot of notes for it. The main thing I wrote is that he punched himself and made himself bleed. And he was like, this doesn't bother me. This type of stuff doesn't bother me. What bothers me is AEW,
I tweeted about it last night. So I have, I'm paraphrasing. It's not the exact line, but, so in the promo, the reason why I wanted to mention it now, in the promo, he says he understands why the young guys aren't stepping up.
Oh, that, yes. Riders. Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, I was like, but they did. That was the
Private
Party and Daniel Garcia and Dark Order and Top Flight. This was weeks of TV of them being out in the parking lot waiting for the Death Riders to show up and fight. And I think Private Party even had a whole segment with Jon Moxley and even, I don't know if it was a match. No, it wasn't a match with him.
No, he broke Cassidy's hand. He hit it with the hammer.
Right. That was, I think, I don't know if it was Claudio and Pac or some version of the Death Riders had a match with Private Party.
Yeah.
And it was like, did Darby forget that, or were we supposed to forget that? Because the whole first, like, almost month of the Death Riders in the "this isn't your company anymore" era of the Death Riders were all the young guys coming to defend the company against the Death Riders.
Yeah.
So, and it made me think, like, okay, so are we supposed to, or is there some, like, weird, has there been some weird shift in the story? Because it does honestly feel like it hasn't headed in the direction that it was originally intending to head from the start of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And that I have a problem with, because, like, we had the immediate first thing of "this is not your company anymore" coinciding with the pictures of Shane McMahon with the Bucks in the airport, and then in that private meeting with Tony Khan that got leaked, made you think, and yes, this is the fans' fault for this. I'm not faulting the company for this. Shane McMahon is, or there's a higher power, greater good, those types of wording that was coming from Jon Moxley at the time that makes you go, oh, so there's a leader, there's a god, there's a what's the there's a Palpatine here.
Yeah.
There's Darth Vader, but then there's the Palpatine, there's the guy on the tippy top that's really controlling the whole thing. So then that all of a sudden was just like, okay, so he's not talking about the greater good anymore. Now it's just him and the Death Riders. And all of the people that cared about defending AEW all of a sudden don't give a shit anymore, it seems, because Top Flight haven't been in a single segment with the Death Riders. The Private Party hasn't been in a single segment with the Death Riders. Daniel Garcia, no, he's in the Continental Classic, but he hasn't been stepping to the Death Riders anymore. No, none of those original, I hate to say it this way, because I remember thinking it at the time, that whole, mid-Carter crew that was hanging out waiting for the top guys of the people, while everyone else was just too busy with their own shit, like Swerve and Hangman and, which we had addressed also at that time. It's like, none of them are involved with the Death Riders anymore.
No. Well, I mean, Hangman is.
I mean, of the young, the
oh,
of them.
And I think that's Johnny nails it. He says maybe because Garcia and Private Party won titles. So the whole thing that Moxley, when you look at it, I agree with you. But when you look at it, what was Moxley saying that whole promo when he broke Private Party's hand? He was saying, you guys have been here for 5 years and you're in the same exact spot that you were 5 years ago. I wonder why. And he goes, now I'm going to teach you a lesson of what it takes. And guess what happened? He taught him a lesson. And a month later, they won the fucking tag titles for the first time. So was Moxley part of the reason why they stepped up and finally won those? You know what I mean?
Well, wait, no, but so now are you saying that Daniel Garcia and Private Party now are on, not literally, but are like, oh yeah, the Death Riders are right, so we're just leaving it alone?
No, but I think them winning their respective titles put them in a way where they're just like, okay, yeah, we have other things to worry about now, kind of thing. And especially like the way that I would look at it, if I'm Private Party and I'm like, and I'm looking in the landscape and I'm going, oh, what are the Death Riders doing? Oh, Orange Cassidy, Jay White, and Hangman are over there. Okay, yeah, that they're okay. They're taking care of it for us. I can go focus on this type of thing. You know what I mean? When I'm looking at it that way. Because honestly, the last time Private Party stepped up to the Death Riders, Isaiah Cassidy got his fucking hand broken with a hammer. So he might have reservations about going back after the Death Riders.
So they're like afraid of them, you think?
I'm not saying they're afraid of them, but I mean, if I tried to step up to somebody and they broke my fucking hand, maybe I'm not stepping up to them the next time. Maybe. Maybe. So, only if you believe, brother. If you don't believe, who cares? So, and hey, if you are watching that on Saturday, come by on Tuesdays. We talk WWE. I know, finally. That's part of the problem is enough people, too many people in this country, the United States of America, look out for that guy. It's part of the problem. So it's one of those things where if you are watching Saturday night's main event,
profile picture.
It's a WrestleMania thing. So,
okay.
But he said he's watching Saturday night's main event. We will be too, and we'll be talking about it next Tuesday on Tuesday mornings here. We talk WWE. Today we're talking AEW. So that's kind of how we do things around here. So, but thank you for looking out for the Lord. I know he needs your assistance. So we continue along.
I mean, that guy could have been joking.
I know.
I don't know if he.
I know. I'm just right. Yeah. Also, I could have been joking because I am a sarcastic piece of shit. So hopefully he was joking. He understands that I was joking and we can move on, but I digress. So right after this Death Riders thing, we get Christian Cage because they showed him multiple times in the opening match, just kind of looking there, just picking it, biding his time, getting ready, picking the perfect moment for when he's going to cash in that contract. And then after this tag match, he cuts a promo from the booth he was in. He tells the crowd to shut up. That's mainly the main thing of the promo. He says, "Shut up, sit down." He says, "I have a problem with everyone that was just in that was booked in that match." He goes, "If Moxley makes it out of that match, that 4-way as champion, I'll be waiting on the other side, and this time I'm not going to miss." Christian also says, "I'll send him back to rock bottom, and he'll hear that little voice telling him to have that drink." Wow. And he'll force him back to rehab while Christian rehabs the AEW World Title. So Christian taking a couple shots at Moxley's substance abuse history. He says he'll send him back to rehab while Christian will then be rehabbing the AEW World Championship. I like that line. Christian doing his thing.
Okay, so here's another thing too that I wanted to mention. I love Christian Cage's character. He's just incredible. And the way that he cuts a promo is so scathing and just, it stabs you in the heart.
Oh, yeah.
Especially his opponents. But, like, I have been, like, a little... And again, this goes to the whole Death Riders story. I don't really understand the, pushing him to be, like, completely just not giving a shit about the guys who were supposed to be, running roughshod around the company. Like he doesn't have any. I don't like that he's being booked to be completely like fearless of the Death Riders.
That's fair. I don't. You said you don't think he's being booked to be fearless of the Death Riders, or he is?
No, he isn't.
Yeah, but I think is that not? Why would you be not fearing the Death Riders? At this point, why would you not be? They've beaten the shit out of everybody in the company for like 3 months. You know what I mean? Like Christian to me he's not necessarily scared of he needs to pick because he knows that Moxley has his crew that's going to mess up his opportunity the second he try. You know what I mean? So he's coming at an eight. That's what you're saying, right? That you think he should be more scared of the Death Riders? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't maybe
or
scared.
more like apprehensive.
Yeah, like there was that one moment the first time where Pac and Claudio were in the back and he was chasing Kip Sabian. He was like chasing Kip Sabian to the back, and then they had that like pause moment. And then that was it. And it was like, oh, okay, so now he's actively trying to cash in his thing on Jon Moxley. When he did that at Full Gear, I never thought I was going to see that. I thought it was just like the one time he ever does the cash in is going to be on the babyface that takes it off of Moxley.
And it might be. It could be.
But he attempted
Yeah.
to do it to Jon Moxley with the Death Riders there.
I mean,
And
I
then
think
continues to talk loads of shit about I mean, this promo.
But I mean,
about
my thing is, no, Mox has not addressed Christian once at
no.
all. My thing is though, is I don't know, like Christian is a Christian to me is a chicken shit heel, but he's not a chicken shit heel to the point where he's like scared of people. If that makes sense. Like he picks his opportunities. He's like dastardly, like he'll sneak in and do something where you're like, "Oh, you piece of crap." Or he'll cut a promo, but like he's not scared of people. You know what I mean? Like he was a little bit more scared of people
again,
when he had
I think
scared
isn't the right word. Like that was the
like for me, now would be the perfect time to cash in because your world champion has not one, not two, but 3 dudes going after him. So now he is at his most vulnerable.
I would say though that I agree with you there, absolutely. But I would say that moment at World's End, that should be the first time he's even addressing or like I would have never had him cut this promo. I would have never had him do the cash-in attempt at Full Gear. I would have just been like, okay, he's talking about, yeah, I'm the next champion whenever, whatever. But I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, Moxley, I'm gonna put you back in rehab and like do the cash-in attempt at Full Gear because it's I guess like the larger issue that I'm having with it is that the Death Riders thing, which was originally being presented as the top storyline of the company, is now like the second to third storyline.
What's the top storyline then?
Well, the Continental Classic is the
but
thing.
that's different. That's different.
And then
that's not a storyline. That's just that's a.
Well, I mean, I didn't storyline, but the wrong word. Just like the focus, like the number one focus of the whole company should be Jon Moxley and Death Riders nearly murdered Bryan Danielson and tried to do the same to Orange Cassidy. And are getting away with it and are continuing to, shield the company's most coveted titles from the world. God knows where the fuck they are. And which I have a theory about the world title, by the way. That, they are just, they're doing this like company they did last month. They did the seizing of the Superstation
that
thing,
was stupid.
And that was the most pointless thing in the world because there was no seizing of any Superstation. And it was just a literal promo on a regular Dynamite. That was it. And they've gone from like, you know what? Actually, this is it right here. This is exactly what I'm trying to say. They are trying, they originally were like this chaotic, not caring about the entire show and anything that was going on type of a stable, but now it just kind of feels like a regular, like Christian Cage's stable. It's like they're a stable of heels that do things to the baby faces on the show, and that's it. But they also have the world title and the trios titles, and they don't have those titles on TV.
Yeah, I'm going to address something. Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you finish it. Then I'm going to address something. So,
and then my thing that I think will bring this back to its importance again is the reason why the title is not on TV, or the titles. I would even say that I would involve the trios championships in this as well. Is those titles are not clearly, we've been talking about it, when it comes to the world title is not in that briefcase that Marina Shafir is carrying around.
No.
And when it comes time in some way, shape, or form for it to be revealed that the title is not in the briefcase, I think the title will be presented to Moxley by the newest member of the Death Riders, Jack Perry. And the reason why the title is not around is because Jack Perry will have done the same thing to the world title that he did with the TNT title, and present it to, because that means that was a very Death Riders style looking championship when he had the TNT title. And we'd even been talking about like how his presentation just totally fit in with the Death Riders.
Yeah.
And then Moxley in the beginning, like right when, I think it was that same day that he did the "This Isn't Your Company Anymore" promo, before he went out to the ring, it was like, hey, Jack Perry, you're a sweet kid, or whatever he said. You know, that whatever people say about you, you're a sweet kid. So we've been surmising that means that there's got to be some sort of a link there. Why would he even do that? Why would that even be something that they book if there's not some sort of hinting, foreshadowing of a relationship between Jack Perry and Jon Moxley and the Death Riders? So these titles have been gone because they were given to the newest member to Death Rider style the titles and remake AEW in their image.
Maybe
that's always been my story with this. But now the reason why I'm going on this tangent about it is because they just don't feel like that upper echelon importance anymore like they did.
I mean, I don't personally feel that way. So I feel like he's the world champion, going to main event every show. I feel like he's still at that level. Now, you want to talk about the chaos thing? Fine. Yeah, they're not like taking over the shows anymore every week. But I still think, he's the world champion. They're treating that with the whatever. But I want to address, because we got our buddy Mike in the chat, and he is, I know you're like sticking to this, man, and you said it a dozen times. Appreciate you being here, but it's just factually incorrect. It's just factually incorrect. You're saying that AEW is only about short-term booking. Last time I checked, Hangman Page, that story was told for 3 years before he won the first world title. Hangman and Swerve was a story that was told over a year long. Last night in the main event, which we'll talk about, we saw someone return in Toni Storm. That story with her and Mariah May has gone on for almost a year at this point. So, yes, sometimes AEW feels that way, but not all the time. So you can say it for the 11th and 12th time in the chat if you want, buddy. And I appreciate you being here, but that is factually incorrect. So either you're not watching the program or you're just kind of stuck to your guns and you're not.
Well, hold on. Wait. Is Mike saying that they've always been like this?
Yeah, he's just been repeatedly saying you need to have short-term memory for AEW booking to make sense. Saying that short-term, and I'm just like, yeah, maybe in some cases, yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, we have multiple stories going on currently in the company that have been stories for almost a year at this point. So, like, it's some stories are not just going to take, not every story you tell in wrestling is going to be a year long.
I don't remember.
So it's just not fully accurate. It's just not fully accurate. That's all. And like, I appreciate you being here. I want you to be in the chat, but if you're going to be spamming the chat with the same type of stuff, at least make it accurate.
Well, because I don't.
In this specific case with the Death Riders, I agree. I agree with him because I do think it's been shoddy and been hit or miss. But again, if you heard Adam Cole's promos, he told you why. And it's not on a dime. Adam Cole turned on MJF last year, and then he was out for 9 months. 9 with an injury, and the company turned MJF heel. Adam Cole didn't do that. In the time that he was out, MJF went back to being a heel. So they had to pay They had to, well, you're gonna see consistency, I believe, because at World's End, all of Adam Cole's friends are gonna turn on him and join MJF, which will be a year-long story, because a year ago at World's End, everybody turned on MJF, including Adam Cole. So now, a year later at World's End, when the Kingdom and Roddy, I don't know about Kyle yet, but Roddy and the Kingdom turn on Adam Cole, that's not short-term booking, man. That's not short-term booking. So again, like, you got to let, it's just, there are things happening that now I fully agree with you when it comes to the Death Riders. It has not been consistent. And I agree with what you're saying, Drew, as well. But when you start speaking in general terms,
I don't agree
like
in general.
Company,
no.
That's bullshit, man. Because that's just not true. It's not true. So, and again, like, I understand, and he mentioned the Adam Cole MJF thing. Like, can someone explain? He said, can someone explain to me why Adam Cole is all of a sudden a face? Well, he did in the promos that he cut when he came back. He did. And again, we're about to get to World's End, where everything is going to come full circle with Adam Cole and MJF. And you're going to, and I think you, Mike, because it seems like you do watch the product. So your opinions do matter, because it seems like you're not one of those people that just says shit but doesn't watch, right? So to me, I feel like when we leave World's End, you're going to feel a lot differently about the MJF Adam Cole thing, because you're going to be like, oh yeah, that was a full circle moment of, again, I think they should stay away from each other, but that was such a major,
you're not the only person who thinks
yes,
that.
yes. And I think it's doing both of them a disservice that they kind of just went back to this, but at the same time, that was the focal point story of 2023 for AEW. I understand it's wrestling. You got to just kind of go with the flow and whatever, but I feel like them wanting to go back and at least tie a bow on it, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I hope I'm right too, Mike, because I'm not saying you're 100% wrong, because there are some stories. I just feel like, speaking as a generality, that's the case, I don't think is truly accurate, because there are stories in this company that have been told. Like, look at the Toni Storm Mariah May story. That's been almost a year long, over a year long. They've been telling that story. And last night, we're still continuing that, So I feel like, and not just you, I feel like people in general do AEW a disservice when we have that, AEW doesn't know how to tell stories, like that famous.
Yeah, that's
you
bullshit.
You didn't say that, but you know what I mean. Like, it's all in the same thing for me. Oh, that's just not true. It's just not true. They tell different types of stories that we see on the other side of things, but it's just, to me, that's just not true, But anyway, I digress. Oh, it was almost a year, Sinner. It was almost a year. And Mike, that's a whole nother conversation that I am willing to have, because I agree with you. And I don't know if it's because they knew he was going to be in and out filming a movie or not, but I would agree with you that since MJF has come back, they have not booked him.
Oh shit, you know MJF personally?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, like, I would agree though that since MJF has been back, I don't think they have booked him as strong as they should. However, I think they also knew that he was going to be very much in or out for a few months filming a movie. So that's maybe why they did it. I'm not really sure. But, all right.
But you see, with that story too, they did that I don't remember what paper, was it Double or Nothing? Or I think it was Double or Nothing.
What is it?
When MJF came out. Well, no, when Adam Cole came out to cut a promo.
Mm-hmm.
And then MJF came out and just, low blowed him and then spit on the mask and threw it. And then, like, that was like the signal that they were just like done with each other.
Yeah.
And then now they're back involved with each other, even though it seemed like that was just a definitive end.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that it was, the original story, had nobody gotten injured, would have been way better, obviously.
Oh, for sure.
But
for sure.
Because of all of the play, the puzzle pieces
that
got separated because of the injuries to both of them. It caused both of them to be out for a number of months this year.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of wanted to put the bow on it and finish it up.
Yeah, because I do think long term moving forward, like I feel like what's going to happen with Adam Cole and his group is going to lead to him fighting his group more than it will lead to him fighting MJF. Like I think MJF is going to be the catalyst that has Roddy and the Kingdom turn on Adam Cole, but I think in the long run, the story is going to be Adam Cole fighting his old friends, and MJF is going to kind of, once the initial thing happens, maybe they have one more blow-off match. Then I think MJF kind of goes on to other things, and I think the story becomes Adam fighting Roddy, Kyle, the King. Like that is where the story becomes, and that's what it is. But yeah, that's just, who knows? But we were talking about Christian Cage, back to Dynamite. I don't want to tangent there. But as he's cutting this promo, Hook shows up in the booth. Hook starts beating the crap out of Christian. He starts hanging him over the balcony like he's going to toss him off the balcony, which was pretty cool. 100%. I think Roddy's going to turn on Adam Cole because he's going to blame Adam Cole for that. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting Sunday, is I feel like Kyle is going to be the one that aligns with Adam. I know they're kind of fighting and whatever, but I think Kyle is going to be the one that stays on Adam's side, where Roddy and the Kingdom are going to turn. Because I do think Roddy is going to come back and blame Adam Cole for his arm getting broken. Like, I do think that he'll blame, much like how Randy Orton on the other side is going to blame Cody for KO giving him a pile driver, and that's how we're going to get to that. Roddy is going to blame Adam Cole for his arm. He's going to say, this wouldn't have happened if I wasn't fighting your mess, dick. And then he's going to turn on Adam Cole. And that's the genesis of... And I don't necessarily think them turning on Adam Cole means that they're going to align with MJF. I just think they're going to use MJF as the catalyst to do the dirty deed on Adam Cole. Like, I don't think MJF has always kind of been better with henchmen in a group, but I don't necessarily think MJF is going to be the new leader of the Kingdom. Like, I don't think that's going to happen.
I have a question.
A business arrangement, maybe, or something along those lines. But I don't necessarily see MJF leading that group for a long time after.
Is there money to be made? And I don't know how they would do this, but is there money to be made in Adam actually swerving the rest of the group and rejoining with MJF as a heel?
Yeah, I think so. If they were a heel tag team?
Yeah.
I think you can make that work for 100%.
Because, I mean, 100%. The way it started was that Cole was the babyface and MJF was the heel, and then it made MJF a babyface. Mm-hmm. And the Better Than You Baby was the hottest thing in the
Oh, for sure. Last summer, it was amazing.
I literally went to Albany just to really see that, and I didn't get to, unfortunately. But I bought the shirt and everything. I still have it. But I mean, that was the hottest thing in the company, and I'm wondering, because this whole babyface run of Adams hasn't been the greatest, and a really interesting swerve would be you know what? Because MJF and Adam haven't there was the one super kick moment last night, but there wasn't really there hasn't been any interaction, and MJF hasn't been at the shows. He's only been doing the the Tron video promos or whatever.
Yeah.
If there's some sort of, I don't know, maybe there's a secret thing between him and Adam again, that they're oh yeah, we're gonna screw over everybody, and I don't know, but oh, well, wait, the match, Mike just reminded me, this match is for the Diamond Ring.
Yes.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, this match is for the Diamond Ring, which again, I don't know if, so this match is technically for the Diamond Ring, which MJF has had.
The Diamond Ring doesn't work on a babyface, really. It feels like a heel.
Well, it's only been on MJF. Like it has
Well,
never
right.
been with anybody else but MJF in the whole existence.
But
of
he
this
was a
company
babyface with it, though,
last year.
when like he was trying to like slide it to Adam originally
Yeah.
to have him win matches, but then he wouldn't use it.
Yeah, because he beat
But
he beat Hangman in the first one. It was the finals. It was him versus Hangman for the first ever, and he beat Hangman, and then he's had it ever since. He's never lost it.
Right. And I just feel like, what's the point of the diamond ring on a babyface? I don't know. Like,
There is no point of it. There is no point. The only thing that would be the point is if Adam Cole beat MJF for it to kind of be like, haha, I got you. I got your ring. Like,
and
but
then what?
yeah, exactly. Like there things like that like aren't championships, but they're like, important, like, they're kind of extra. Like those things to me should never be, not never, but like there's no point for baby faces to have those type of things. Cause like, what is Adam Cole? Adam Cole is going to walk around with the ring and like, it just doesn't feel right on a baby face. Like the heel being like, I got this, I'm better, whatever. Like that is where the story is, but the match technically is for that. But anyway, we then have, so Hook got involved. They ended up fighting. He almost throws Christian Cage off the balcony, which was quite an impressive spot. And then Christian kind of gets away with Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne when they come back to try to help.
Yeah, they destroyed that poor box.
He did.
Looked great though. It reminded me of the original days of AEW with the Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes thing.
Yeah. No, he gave him the real ring. He was a business arrangement. He gave it to him so that Takeshita could beat Adam Cole. Right? That was the whole story there. He let him borrow the diamond ring so Takeshita could beat Adam. All right. We then had our first Continental Classic matchup of the evening, and it was a good one. It was Claudio Castagnoli up against Will Ospreay. This was one of the first round matchups I was looking forward to. And it started off hot. They, the match, the bell rings and Claudio, they run at each other and Will hits him right away with a in the ring. Did he? No, it was
no way he would give him
the ring. No, it was a business arrangement that they had, but he gave them the ring to borrow to use as a weapon to make sure that Adam Cole lost, so he wouldn't have to fight Adam Cole at Full Gear. So this match starts. They run at each other, and Will Ospreay hits a standing Spanish fly right out the jump for a close two pinfall, which was excellent. And then these two can continue to have a great back and forth match. The strikes from Claudio, the hot shots, he's throwing him into the barricade. He does the giant swing into the steps. Really, really good stuff. And Will Ospreay doing his typical things.
And in that moment, I think it was Nigel. Yeah, it was Nigel. Nigel, they're talking about Kyle Fletcher.
Oh, yeah.
And Fletchlights.
Yes, I saw that.
Said alive on television.
Yeah. And Tony Schiavone was like, what? Tony Schiavone couldn't believe it.
He was like, are you making that up?
Yeah. That was funny.
I'm going to say, Will Ospreay with that hair.
I was going to say, he had the Jonathan Taylor Thomas hair going. The JTT.
That's a look.
He had the, how'd you feel about it? He had the straight hair. As opposed to the look
that he should keep.
All right.
Oh boy, that was a good look.
Fair enough. Yeah, he had
very
the Jonathan
PG on that one.
Yeah, he had the Jonathan Taylor Thomas boy band esque great hair going last night. He looked all good with the hair and stuff like that. Hey, got a good blow drying day. Good blow drying day for Will. But this was a really, really good match, back and forth, and at the end, Will Ospreay wins with the jackknife pin. He gets 3 points, which moves him up to a tie with Claudio of 6 in the Gold League. Post-match, though, Claudio attacks him. He hits a lariat. He hits a neutralizer. And it looks like he's going to go and he's going to get a chair. It looks like he's going to take out Will. But we see Darby Allin come down and make the save and run off Claudio because next week, I believe next week is Holiday Bash.
Yes.
It'll be Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay on Dynamite, which is a match I'm very much looking forward to with those two guys. So I think Darby was not only doing the right thing and running off Claudio, but I think he was protecting Will so their match can go as planned next week. After this, we had Ricochet backstage with Renee Paquette. He says that he came to AEW for the competition and nothing brings that out like the Continental Classic. And he said, tonight, your boys got Brody King for the first time ever. He says he's big, he's scary, and he's one of the toughest guys in the tournament, but he is not Ricochet. And tonight, Ricochet is holding all the cards, and he shows the MVP business card, and then he takes off. So, he did that little thing.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
everyone is a piece of shit, and I've been waiting for this because
we've been talking about it for a little bit now. I've been of the ilk that I want Ricochet to struggle in this Continental Classic and not make it out of the Continental Classic, which will then make him turn heel and join the Hurt Syndicate. You and I have been saying that on here for a little while now. We feel like that would be a perfect fit for him. I feel like Johnny, 100%. Nigel is an absolute gem in commentary. Yeah. He's fantastic. For me, and last night in this match, later on against Brody King, because Brody King is just over. And we'll talk about it when we get there, but Ricochet was playing the heel. He was playing the heel in the match. It fit. And for me, for somebody like me who watches both companies, I feel like Ricochet has been a babyface the whole time that I've seen him on my North American. He was a babyface for 90% of the time he was in WWE. He's been a babyface since
100% of the time.
I think they might have tried a quick little heel thing with him, but I don't think it worked. But I'm pretty sure he was a babyface 95 to 100% of the time in WWE.
Was he ever a heel outside, like before he joined the company?
I don't know.
I feel was a babyface.
I feel like
right?
listen. He never got the opportunities in WWE that he needed, but I feel like they might have tried a quick little heel turn with him in WWE. They just quickly got away from it. But I do feel like him becoming a heel would be very, very, it would feel so fresh for him. It would feel so fresh for him. And it would be a completely new thing for him. That's what I did hear. That on the indies, he was more of a heel. PWG, like back in the day. I didn't, there's no question what we're seeing in the ring from Ricochet is of the caliber that you would expect. But we also saw last night, Ricochet was getting booed in that match too. So not only was he playing the heel, he was getting booed by the crowd. So this is just a perfect way to kind of freshen up Ricochet as a character, and let's see him as a heel for the first time, really. And let him, whether it's a solo run or he does join the Syndicate, either way, I think a heel turn for him would feel incredibly fresh. And it would give him a boost.
There's these dork morons on that still continue to do that. They're the reason why he never got a microphone in WWE. Shut the fuck up. I have never heard him sound more natural than in this promo. Like this was the most natural, regular speaking dude that I have ever heard out of Ricochet.
Yeah.
And people are still shitting on it. Well, go fuck yourselves. Listen, this is my guy. Okay, I'm ride or die for this guy. This is exactly what Ricochet needs. 100%. This whole promo, that little laugh at the end, the way that Renee was acting to him, to the match, and everything that he did in the match. When we talk, are we going to? Did we talk? We're not talking about that.
It's a little bit of ways. There's other things before we get there, but
yeah. So I can't wait to talk about it because this was so great.
Yeah, it was. We then saw a vehicle pull up backstage, and Maxwell Jacob Freeman gets out of the vehicle. So MJF is in the building for the first time in a bit. We see that, and then we have another backstage interview. This time, Renee Paquette is joined by the one, the only Matt Cardona. He says it's great to be back in AEW. He belongs there. He says people were shocked to see him, but he wasn't. He's busted his ass to reinvent himself the last couple years, and now he has the biggest match of his career against Chris Jericho. He says that he knows what he's in store for, but he's not waiting around, and he challenges Brian Keith to a matchup on Rampage, so we'll be seeing Matt Cardona in action on Rampage against Brian Keith.
There was a week or 2 weeks ago, there was the whole GCW situation, and but then all of a sudden Matt Cardona is involved when it comes to Ring of Honor, at least.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what the situation is there, that they weren't allowed to like do anything, but then a very prominent GCW wrestler. I mean, he doesn't just exclusively wrestle for GCW, but still, I mean, he's like one of the most recognized GCW names.
Yeah.
I don't know now what that means. Or like maybe if there's some sort of a shoot turned into a work type of a situation going on. So I'm interested to see where that goes, but I'm very excited for Matt Cardona.
Yes, I love Matt Cardona. We love Matt Cardona here. That guy deserves everything that he gets because he literally has earned everything that he's gotten. Everything.
Yes.
So we love Matt Cardona around here. And then Renee is joined by Kyle O'Reilly right after this. But before Kyle can say anything, we have the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett roll up. And Matt Taven is imploring to Kyle, like, hey, I know you guys are fighting, but please remember, like, at the end of the day, we're all a family, man. We're all a family. We're all friendly. We all been doing that. And Kyle looks at them and they go, yeah, well, some of us should have thought about that before we let one of our brothers get hurt then, in reference to Roderick Strong and things of that nature. And then that leads right into the number one contenders match for the Dynamite Diamond Ring and MJF. It is Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. This match was pretty solid. It's not the best match we've seen between the two of them, but it was a pretty solid match. MJF does get involved towards the end of this match. He tries to take out Adam Cole so he can face anybody but Adam Cole. But Cole fends him off. He hits a super kick, and then he ends up pinning Kyle O'Reilly to become the number one contender for the Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Originally, I actually thought it was a double pin.
It looked like it could have been.
It looked like pretty much both of their shoulders were on the mat. So I thought that it was going to be like a double pin situation.
It'll be a triple threat.
Which it could still turn into that. We still have a couple, what do we have, like 2 weeks to World's End?
Yeah, the 28th. So 2 weeks from Saturday.
So they could still like bullshit something.
I don't think they don't need to. You just Adam Cole MJF Adam Cole MJF 1 year to the event that happened last year.
Well, yeah, true.
You finish it off. You go full circle. You do the moment. I think if you were going to do a triple threat, you should have done the triple threat with Adam and Roddy at Full Gear. That was the one that you should have done the triple threat. Adam Cole was even in the ring cutting a promo saying he talked to Tony to make it a triple threat before Full Gear, and they just kind of went a different route and had Roddy get it. I feel like if you were going to do a triple threat, it should have been with Roddy at Full Gear. I feel like now World's End, with a year from what happened at the end of last year's World End, I think you got to go one-on-one. You got to. Do I think Kyle and those guys will get involved? 1,000%. 1,000%. But I feel like you almost have to have the one-on-one. I feel like this go around because you need the finale or the the thing to get to the next step here if you're continuing this or whatever. That's just my personal opinion. Do I think a triple threat match would be bad? No, I don't.
No,
I just feel like you almost have to do the one. You don't have to, but you should do the one-on-one. We then had FTR talking up Dynamite on the January 1st, the big simulcast with Max and TBS. And they were talking about how important this Dynamite is to their hometown, as their hometown obviously was devastated by the hurricane that happened there not too long ago. So that was a cool little promo for FTR to kind of talk about that. We then had another iteration of Chris Jericho's New York Minute. He talks trash about Matt Cardona for challenging Brian Keith. And then Brian Keith had a couple funny one-liners where he said he was going to kick Matt Cardona's ass. And that was it. Anything to add on the New York Minute with Chris Jericho at all?
Nope.
Big Bill, noticeably not there. He got married, Big Bill. So congratulations. I did see that. Alexi Nair. Yeah, to Alexi Nair. So good for them. Congratulations to them. I saw some of the pictures. I saw Enzo dancing his ass off, looking like he was having a good time. Good to see that they're still buds and things like that. So congratulations to Big Bill and Lexi Nair. That's cool shit. Okay, then we talked about the Darby Allin sit down. So that happened next. And then we had Drew, Brody King coming in at 3 points against Ricochet, also coming in at 3 points in the Continental Classic Gold League match. This was a good one, Drew. This was a good, I'm telling you, I say it every time. I fucking love Brody King, man. I fucking love Brody King. If I had my pick, Brody King would be winning this whole fucking thing. But I know he's not gonna. But he would be winning this whole thing if I had my pick. But this was a very, very good match. Ricochet was excellent in this match. I thought Ricochet in the match itself.
Best performance, aside from the 5-year anniversary show.
Yeah.
This was his best performance.
I agree. I think this was his best performance. I feel like him wrestling as a heel, because once the crowd was kind of booing and stuff, he did kind of lean in like the heel smiles, the smart ass smiles, the cockiness. I felt like
he
was in his element here. I felt like he was standing out here. Like, and he always does in the ring. He's ridiculous. But like, this was the Ricochet. This was a Ricochet that I need to see. A little bit of fucking attitude.
Really,
let's go.
Think about it. From the jump, he was really like acting like a heel because he was being very vocal in the match too. Like really from the start of like get away, and like when they were doing the spots outside.
Yep.
Like the screaming that he was doing, and the I don't remember what he said. I don't remember, like, get away from me or don't do, like something that he was said right before. I think it was the spot when he was sitting in the chair.
Yes, and he did the splash.
Yeah, like he said something that's like, it's just like heel.
Yeah,
what heels do, and it was just so refreshing, and it felt so natural coming from him.
Oh, 100%. And at the end when he was, that crowd was really pulling for Brody King. And at the end when he was setting up all his stuff, you heard the boo birds, and you didn't see Ricochet acting like, oh, the good guy that's shocked that everyone's booing him. He was just like that. He had the attitude of like, oh, you're going to boo me? All right, well, fucking look at this. Dicks.
I remember,
and I think that's really the attitude he needs.
The turnbuckle spot happened.
Yes.
And then his reaction to it, which I thought was brilliant. His immediate reaction was just like, just like, I gotta win my match. So,
and I think, I think, look at man. We know what Ricochet can do inside the ring. That's no secret. He's one of the all-time greats. He really changed the way that people wrestle with the way he wrestled, and still does. Like, he's the reason why wrestling, he's one of the main reasons why wrestling is, kind of how it is now. Like the stuff that he was doing, he's one of the all-time greats in the ring. This character change, as we're not even fully there yet, we're on the way to it. But even the slight changes that he made, it is just so refreshing. And it's like, okay. And as somebody who's watched Ricochet on television for 10 years now, he was in WWE for a while. Yeah. So like for 10 or 11 years now, and we've only seen this very vanilla cookie cutter good guy who cut really bland promos, not all his fault. That was some of the product he was given to cut. I'm excited to see him get a little attitude and see what he can do, 100%. And he said it. And he's 100% right when he says that. I saw that quote that he did where he was like, look, it's not just me. It's not just me. Like, I don't want to come off as that guy, but I am going to come off as that guy. There isn't an AEW if there wasn't for him. And he's 100% right. He's 100% right. If him and Ospreay and Danielson before he went to WWE, if all those guys, especially him and Ospreay, like, if they didn't wrestle, there is no AEW. Like, them doing what they did in the way that they wrestled allowed, it's not the only reason. Duh. They needed the Bucks and Cody and the money from Tony. Like, duh.
Yeah,
But like,
obviously.
from a wrestling standpoint, a company like AEW and the in-ring that we see would not have been a thing if it wasn't for guys like Ricochet and Will Ospreay and all those guys. So he's 100% right when he says that. Now I want to see him be a heel, a cocky asshole heel. That's what I want to see from Ricochet. Exactly. Johnny, I don't want chicken shit. Put him in the Hurt Syndicate. Let him be a badass, but like a cocky, high flyer badass.
The
1,000%.
The type of heel that he was in this match is perfect for him.
That's what I want. I want cocky. And I know MJF has the tagline, but I want cocky. I'm better. Like, I know that I'm better than you. Heel. Like, that's the type of heel that I want. Suits, looking good, feeling good, cocky. Yeah, you guys suck. I'm Ricochet. I'm one of the best. You suck. I want that. I don't want chicken.
Does he look good?
Yeah, I don't want chicken shit.
There's no debating that.
No, I don't want chicken shit, cheating to win all the time. I don't want that. Yo, Scott, he pulled it out. He pulled it out in the promo with Renee in the back. He pulled it out.
He's like, I hold all the cards.
Yes,
so.
He is joining the Hurt Syndicate, and I think he is perfect to join the Hurt Syndicate. Because what does MVP say? I take past champions and I bring them back to glory. Well, guess what? Ricochet's a perfect guy to fill out that application. A perfect guy. We're talking about Dynamite, but we've kind of been everywhere today, Hoosier. Good to see you, pal. Thanks for popping in. So again, Ricochet gets the pinfall victory over Brody King. So now he is at 6 points. Very good match. And then we had Private Party cutting a promo backstage. Lio Rush and Action Andretti roll up in those ridiculous coats that they have. They look like Coop. They look like they belong in Super Mario World. What the hell's going on? The hell's going on? They want a title shot from Santa Claus. Top Flight then rolls up to point out that they haven't won any tag matches to earn a title shot. Then the two teams finally bicker. So Isaiah Cassidy says, hey, I got an idea. How about you two fight each other? And then the winner of that can face us for the titles. I love Lio Rush. I'm not talking about Lio Rush. I'm talking about the jackets. That's all. Lio Rush is also a guy I would love to join the Hurt Syndicate. I don't need I would love the Hurt Syndicate to be like 7 or 8 people. Like, I want it to be like a big thing. I would have no problem. Like, if you told me that Action Andretti, Lio Rush, Ricochet, and then a lady, like I would like a lady in the group at some point, maybe like Queen Amanada, that would rule.
Oh my God.
Like, I'd be all about that shit.
Holy
but like,
shit.
if you were to create a bigger group, that's what I'm about, dude. That's what I'm about. I think it would be, look, it's perfectly fine with just the 3 of them. If Ricochet were to join and he was like the fourth, like Cedric was in WWE, that's cool. They do need a tag team. As long as he's saying the Lashley stuff, I just need to hear Lashley. I need to hear it one more time. But I think I don't think you're wrong, Scott. I think they could use a lady, and I think they could use a tag team. Because I think Bobby Lashley is your main event singles guy. Shelton Benjamin is your mid-card singles guy who can be in the main event if they want. You got Ricochet, who would be a third guy in that ilk as well. And then you have your tag team. And then potentially a lady in there. With MVP kind of running the strings and being the manager. I'm all in on that. Because I think about it and I'm like, yo, Ricochet would be perfect. But then I look at Lio Rush and I'm like, he would be perfect too. So, and I think Action Andretti, that would be a great spot for a young guy like him to be in that group with. Oh, Athena would be a good one too. That's a good one. I think Athena might be at a little level where she, not above it, but like I think like somebody like a Queen. I know Trisha Dora is with Shane Taylor on Ring of Honor. I thought she would be a perfect, but I think kind of like I don't say this as a negative, but someone on the lower end of the hierarchy of things. Like Athena to me, even though she hasn't been on AEW television, she's been the greatest champion affiliated with AEW for the last 2 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So her stature, I think, is a little higher. Red Velvet would be a good one. That'd be a nice little, yeah. Like,
yeah.
I'm talking like someone along that level to me. Queen Amanada, Red Velvet, Trisha Dora, but she's with Shane Taylor promotion. But like somewhere on that level, I feel like this would be a really good spot for them to be kind of the female representative of the Hurt Syndicate. I think that would be badass.
I mean, as great as the names are that we've been mentioning, There is one name that we've not mentioned yet that I actually feel like she would be I don't know how her character would fit.
She would fit as well if she was still in the company. 100%. What about Mercedes Martinez? What's she doing?
Wait, who do you think I was talking about there?
I don't know. He said Sunday Center said Swole.
In
the chat.
I wasn't
Like if
paying
she was
attention
still
to
in the
that.
company, she'd be perfect. And I
I
was
thought
like,
you were talking about what I was saying.
No. I don't know who you're referencing.
Mercedes.
I feel like, again,
I don't know. Yeah, but her character.
she too big.
Like,
She too big for it. Not
Is
in like
she?
you know what I mean. Not like that, but you know what I mean.
like Star. You mean Star?
Yeah,
Wars.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like maybe she would even add some more legitimacy to the group.
I don't disagree. It seemed to me that they were kind of leaning that he was going to join the Elite at some point, and then the Elite kind of disbanded a little bit. But like she was doing the stuff with Okada, and she was showing up, like having the Bucks kind of handle her business for her. I kind of felt like they might be doing that, but yeah. So we're gonna get Leo and Action Andretti are going to be fighting Top Flight, and the winner of that will face Private Party. Did they say that's at World's End for the titles? Would you assume?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, must be.
All right. We then come back from commercial, and once again, Renee Paquette is in the back, and she's moderating a face-to-face between Anna Jay and Mercedes Moné. Mercedes says that she's proud of Anna Jay for being gutsy, and it's cute that she believes in herself, but she's only getting started at 26. But Mercedes is a 5-time world champ. Mercedes says, I was a 5-time world champion by the time I was your age. So I'm proud of you. Real good that you're getting started, and you're only getting started here and you're working your way up. But I was already the greatest by the time I was your age. And she said next week on Dynamite, she's going to show Anna Jay that there's a price to pay when you mess with Mercedes Moné. And then as she's going to leave, Anna Jay says, I want you to stay here because we're having a face-to-face. And Anna Jay says, I know I'm the underdog, but I've been proving people wrong my entire career. And she goes, and when you make your first mistake, I'm going to capitalize on it because I only need 3 seconds to shock the world. And then she hit her. Did she slap her? I think she slapped her. Did you know? Or was that on a different show? I thought she slapped her. I didn't write in my notes, but I thought she slapped her. Was that last week?
I think that was different.
Was that different? I thought Mercedes got slapped by Anna Jay at some point. Was that not last night?
No. She shoved the title.
That's what it is. That's what it is. All right. I knew there was like some sort of like little physicality thing there. And then that was that. And then, Drew, we are at the main event of the evening. Now, one thing that I want to say, and I put this on the social medias. Since Saturday, Drew, we have had 4 major television shows on TV. We had NXT Deadline on Saturday. We had Monday Night Raw on Monday. We had NXT on Tuesday. And we had AEW Dynamite last night. And every single one of those shows were main evented by the women. Every single one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And that is fucking awesome. And that should become more of a norm moving forward. I would like to, it doesn't have to be every week, but I would like to keep that energy up, that we just become more accustomed to that, because NXT Deadline was main evented by the women. Raw was main evented by Raquel and Rhea. NXT was main evented by the women last night. And obviously the women's world title match main evented Dynamite. That is dope.
TNA, we're calling you tonight.
TNA tonight, SmackDown tomorrow, Saturday night's main event. Won't happen. But, that's just cool. I just wanted to point that out because I thought that was cool. I thought that was very, very cool. But the main event last night of AEW Dynamite was Mariah May defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Mina Hirakawa. Obviously, the major thing that happened here. Oh, Willow would be a good one.
Oh,
that would be a good one if they ever went that way. That would be really nice. That's a good poll, John. That's a good poll right there, buddy.
Oh,
I don't know if Willow. I feel like Willow is such a baby face that, but if they did go that way, that would be fantastic. That would be we love Willow Nightingale over here. Yeah. This match was really good. Thunder Rosa was at ringside. She had a seat in the front row, and she had her signs up.
They were really tricky last night. They were
They
really tricky when they did that.
They were. They did that on purpose because everyone's thinking like, oh, all right, Thunder Rosa, she's talking shit about hey, Toronto. Nobody gives a shit about your ass. See you later, buddy. So last night.
Learned. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I don't got time for it. Mariah May versus Mina Shirakawa. They had Thunder Rosa at ringside, and she was talking major shit about Mariah May the whole time. You're not my champion. She's yelling, you're not my champion. And she had signs and things like that. Overall, Drew, before we talk about the big thing, which everybody already knows, we've already referenced it, but before we talk about the big thing that happened at the end of the night, what did you think about this main event match between Mina and Mariah? This was the first time we got it. So
yeah. Well, obviously they work well with each other because they know each other so well.
Yeah.
From the Stardom run and everything. Match was pretty good for me. I'm nothing like that stuck out that much, and I guess it was by design because of what was happening afterwards. Yeah, but of course did not in any way, shape, or form think that Mina was winning.
No. But she kicked out a Mayday. She kicked out a Mariah May's original finisher.
There were some like that one, and I think there was another like really close 2.99 sort of like moment. They've been doing that more lately, which I'm really appreciative of.
Yeah, and Mariah May ended up winning with the Storm Zero. So she doesn't win with her own finisher. Mina kicks out, but she wins with Storm Zero.
Yes,
which was fitting.
She's still been doing that too.
Yeah, which was fitting because right after this match, Mariah May gets her belt, and she is celebrating, and we hear not timeless Toni Storm's music. We hear like kind of the original. I don't know. Is there a name for the form of this? Just the original Toni Storm character, like kind of thing. Regular Toni Storm. I don't know what we're calling.
I don't think she had a name.
But it was her own. It was her old music. She came out. She was back to wearing the leather jacket. She had the thing under her. I was very much the Toni Storm we grew to love for years and years and years before the timeless character.
Yes.
And she showed up, got a massive pop. You could see the emotion on her face that it looked like she was almost brought to tears by the reception that she got.
Yeah, it was really nice. Really nice.
It was very, very nice. Yeah, punk Toni Storm is kind of good, like rocker, kind of whatever. Wonderful to see Toni Storm back. I would only assume that this is going to lead to her versus Mariah May at World's End, or maybe a triple threat with Thunder Rosa if they want to do that. I don't know. But good to see Toni Storm back. We have not seen her since All In August. Very good to see her back. And, she had those comments. Oh, no, Johnny, we will. Another Bandito vignette that ruled.
Oh, yeah, we kind of glossed over that.
I didn't have it on my notes for some reason. But, yeah, we can talk about that. You think they save it for... Well, yes, but I think we can get it at both, possible. Though. I think we get it at both. I think there's a chance we get it at both. But, yeah, I would think Grand Slam, that's probably the main event. Toni in her home country. I would think so. This was really cool. This was really cool to see Toni Storm come back. A little while ago, she had that interview where she said that she was retired. And all of us were like, oh, well, that's clearly not true or whatever. But maybe she just retired the timeless Toni Storm character. Maybe that was timeless Toni Storm talking, saying she was retired. And now we're getting, the old school Toni Storm. Because maybe she needs this old school Toni Storm character to defeat Mariah. Because timeless couldn't do it, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's we didn't think about it that way, but now that she came back as her regular Toni Storm character, that makes sense.
It does, right?
And it fits with that timeless Toni Storm character too, because she's a callback to the 20s and 30s of the Hollywood era of the starlets and everything. That would be like a starlet type of a thing to do. It's like, I am retired now, and so that fits for their character.
I agree. So again, a big return to end the show last night. A very Wonderful return. One thing I will say, Johnny, yes, there was another Bandito vignette. This one actually showed Bandito. He came riding in on a horse. He looks jacked as hell.
Oh,
he looks
brother.
jacked as hell.
I'm be looking at more Bandito matches now.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
So he looks like he bulked up big time when he was out injured or whatever. He looks to be in tremendous shape, but he showed up riding in on a horse and he took out all the cowboys in that vignette in the very old school country western vibe. He gave somebody one of his Can you imagine taking moves on gravel like that, bro?
No.
Because he was giving people power bombs. He was giving like sunset power bombs and all sorts of moves, DDTs on gravel. That had to hurt. That had to hurt. But him giving his power bomb and his finishing move to the Cowboys in this vignette, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. It made me laugh. I loved both of these vignettes last week and this week with the over the top kind of whatever thing that they're doing. I thought it was different and fun. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that in my notes, but that happened.
And the style of the vignettes too.
Yes.
It makes you think that you're not watching AEW until the AEW reference. It's like, oh, just last week, the first one that they did, you didn't realize there was an AEW vignette until the Bandito wanted poster was there. It's like, oh, this is not like a TV show or something. This is AEW. I'm really enjoying these a lot.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're great. I like when they do different stuff like that. So yeah, that was the week that was in AEW. A lot of good stuff. The Continental Classic is getting right in the heat of it. It's been excellent. Toni Storm coming back, I think, is a real jump start. And now we can get kind of a juicy world title picture on the women's side again, which I think is perfect. Yeah, man, I loved it. Anything to add as far as the AEW shows for the week or things like that before we kind of do our thing and get out of here?
I needed this week for AEW.
You were struggling last week. You were not vibing with AEW when we chatted last week. You were kind of not out on the product, but you were kind of feeling a certain way.
It's feeling a little cold to me.
Yeah.
And while there still definitely needs to be some improvements, this show had it was very positive for me this week.
Yeah, I agree.
And just the Continental Classic matches were great. The storylines are continuing nice. I liked that Moxley promo. When I have been kind of like souring on the story a little bit, I think that promo kind of rejuvenated it for me.
Yep.
The Ricochet heel leaning rejuvenated that. That's like the Will Ospreay match. Will and Claudia was excellent. It was absolutely just incredible. And then Toni Storm coming back, and I think this was a strong Dynamite this week.
It was.
I was very happy.
I thought so as well. I thought it was just a strong week of television. Sandy, you're writing back. You're back right in time for us to say our sayonaras and get on out of here. But yeah, I thought it was a strong week in general. Go out of your way to watch that Commander Darby Allin match if you can. That match was fantastic. But all the Continental Classic stuff has been great. So I think AEW needed to kind of bounce back and have some good shows. And I thought this week provided that. So hopefully next week it continues with Holiday Bash into, I saw that. I will be watching. That's sad.
Really?
But I'll be watching.
Wait, is he?
North Carolina. He's going to the University of North Carolina College.
But what about the NFL thing?
What do you mean? Belichick, he accepted the job at UNC as the head coach, and he's going to college.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I've only known him as the.
I mean, he's never coached in college. No, Patriots.
Oh, Patriots. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's never been a head coach in college ever. And he's 72 years old, and he's going down there for the first time. And he's going to North Carolina, which is like not a football school. So I'm rooting for him. I want him to do well. But to me, the whole thing is kind of sad. But Sandy, I know this is the AEW show, but we cannot wait for Saturday night's main event either. We can't wait to talk about it next Tuesday. because that's where you can find Drew and I here on Firmly Love Wrestling every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 10 a.m. We talk WWE on Tuesdays. We talk AEW on Thursdays. So that's where you can find us here. Drew, let the people know where they can find you on the social medias. And what else you got coming up this week, if you have anything coming up this weekend.
You can find me right there at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter and Drew Nicholas on Blue Sky, and collecting super chats and humper chats for Fightful's AEW Collision Post Show on Saturdays with Rick Cresta and Iridian, and Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast with The Thorn in My Side, Sunday Sinner, and a medley of other wonderful people. And follow Firmly LW on Twitter as well.
Yep. You can find me later on tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be me. It'll be Pluggo for another episode of Between Two Beards, the flagship program here at Love Wrestling. We have a big one tonight. We have Stephanie Hypes joining us on the channel. Very excited to have her. We met her at SummerSlam in August, and we've been trying to get her on the show for a little bit now, and she's going to be joining us. We're going to talk some Saturday night's main event and just WWE in general with her this evening. Plus, we'll dive into other things and that. But that's where you can find me. You can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms, and you can just follow us here at Love Wrestling CA on all platforms, including Blue Sky. We have Firmly Love Wrestling 2 times a week. We have Beards every Thursday night. We have For Exposure for you independent wrestling fans. We have the Sunday Brunch every Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk about just the week that was at wrestling, and we watch some great Love Pro Wrestling matches. And we don't have one this month because of the holiday, but the last Friday and the last Thursday, but the last Thursday and Friday of every month, we have some of the best Canadian independent wrestling you will find at LPW. On Thursdays, it's LPW and the Clandestine Society. And on Fridays, it is our standard LPW shows. Some of the best. Sandy, I know it's late for you over there, but you can catch the repeats on YouTube anytime that is more convenient for you. If you don't want to stay up that late, I would understand, but we would love to see you. We would love to see you. But for everybody in the chat today, we appreciate you all. The chat is just getting better and better every week. There's more friends and new people popping in. Last couple of weeks, I've had to, I've had to throw some bows because people are just getting a little frisky in there. But that's a good thing. That means that more people are seeing us, more people are coming in. And now it's up to me to make sure that the people coming in abide by the rules or they can get the fuck out.
I am currently a mod elsewhere, so
yes,
I don't have the capability at the moment because I'm not logged into StreamYard on here. But when I am logged into StreamYard on my computer, when that fucking situation gets fixed, I'll be banning assholes too. So.
There it is. Again, everything is great here. Appreciate you all in the chat. You guys are always great to us. You give us things to talk about. You have great perspective and great ideas. So we appreciate every single one of you in the support here, not only in this Firmly side of things, but the Love Wrestling support in general. But that's going to be it for us today. Y'all have yourselves a great weekend. Hopefully we'll see some of you tonight for Beards. Hopefully all of you tonight for Beards. But if not, Drew and I will see you next Tuesday. But until then, y'all know the drill. Peace out.